Madam Speaker, I rise on question number 65 of 2015 under my name to the Minister for Education. Can the Minister explain to the House why school textbooks, as promised by the government during the elections, still has not reached the schools in Fiji?
Thank you, Honourable Minister for Education.
Madam Speaker, unfortunately, as the tradition demands, I cannot thank the Honourable Minister for asking, Honourable MP for asking that question, because it's factually incorrect. Madam Speaker, there are two components to that question. One is why school textbook, as promised by the government during the elections, is the first component. The second component is still has not reached the schools in Fiji. Both are factually incorrect, Madam Speaker. Let me explain. This is our manifesto, Madam Speaker. Nowhere in the manifesto did the Fiji First Party promise that we will provide free textbooks. Nowhere, nowhere, nowhere. This is the manifesto. Number two, but, Madam Speaker, let me go to a second part, which says, how did this idea came across? The Honourable MP should thank the Prime Minister. In January, when the school started, prior to that a week, the Prime Minister called our office and said, Dr. Reddy, can we provide textbooks? Because at the moment, Madam Speaker, what was happening is that those children coming out of well-to-do households, the elite, were able to buy textbooks. And those in the interior and the islands and those quarter settlements were not having textbooks. That's when we decided that we will provide textbook to all students in Fiji. Madam Speaker, as the MP has incorrectly stated, that the textbook has not reached the schools in Fiji. That's not true. Madam Speaker, from years 1 to 13, we need a total of 87 textbooks. 87 textbooks. So far, Madam Speaker, over the last 8 weeks, we have produced 199,632 copies of textbooks, a total of 16.8 million pages. Over the last 8 weeks, 49 books has been distributed as of last week. 49 books has been distributed to schools. Oh, wait a minute. Madam Speaker, they want answers, but they don't want to listen because it's difficult for them to digest the truth. Because it's difficult for them to digest the truth. Because they can't digest the truth. They don't want to listen to the truth. Of the 87 textbooks, let me repeat. Of the 87 textbooks, of the 87 textbooks, 49 textbooks has been distributed to all schools in Fiji. Remaining 38 textbooks, Madam Speaker, we have outsourced the printing to 2 other printers. So a total of 3 printers are on operating at the moment. The government one, ERC, Economic Resource Center, and Education Resource Center, and 2 private printers are there. By end of next month, we will finish distribution of all textbooks throughout Fiji. Wait a minute. Madam Speaker, that doesn't mean schools don't have textbooks. Every teacher has a copy of the textbook. Every school has limited copies in the library for students to refer. Therefore, classes are going as normal. There's no question about it. It's just that some students do not have their own copy to take home. So what we are doing this year is every student will have their own copy to take home. Those workbooks, they will work on it, they will write on it, they don't have to return it, which will be provided again next year. Time is, Madam Speaker, end of next month, all schools in Fiji will have a copy of textbook for every child from years 1 to 13. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Even your chair.
Honourable
Supplementary question, Madam Speaker. I thank the Honourable Minister for his answers this morning regard to the principal question. In Lambasa, Madam Speaker, only 3 textbooks have come online: basic science, health science, and social science. Mathematics, English, no textbook has arrived in Lambasa town. In the rural areas, forget about internet. First term, second term, according to the reform, the teacher has to cover all the syllabus, first term, second term. It's already eighth week into the first term. And third term, revision and remedials. How will be the students prepared for the external exams? If the performance of the teachers, their contract will be renewed according to the results. When the student cannot comprehend the subject and understand the questions, and they cannot meet that after you have removed the scaling system.
Thank you, Honourable Minister.
Unfortunately, the Honourable Member has asked too many questions in one question they've allowed. The Honourable Member should have attended last night's open forum at Chuba Grammar School. He would have answers to a number of things about how they will finish in 2 terms the syllabus and what will happen in term 3, etc. But let me get back to him again, Madam Speaker, that resources are there. Every teacher have their own. They have their own copy of the textbooks. How can every teacher has their own copy of the textbook, which they use to prepare their lecture notes, materials for teaching in class? It's just that free textbooks means for students to use. At the moment, those schools who do not have, every child does not have a textbook, there are materials in the library for them to refer. They are there. And all those materials, Madam Speaker, the soft copies uploaded on the homepage of Ministry of Education. So those in Lambas and access, they can access. Those students can go to the library, go to the computer lab in the school and access. But we don't expect them to download and print it. That's why we are printing and distributing to the schools at the doorstep. Thank you.
Thank you.
Question, Madam Speaker.
Honourable Leader of Opposition.
In regard to rural, remote and maritime schools that do not have internet, it is very difficult for them to download and get soft copies, so that when they do come into Suva and they're advised that there's a directive that they cannot purchase textbooks because the minister has stated that no textbooks are to be purchased by parents. How can they cope with the textbooks that they need to buy? And this is now week 9, and they are, and also I'm just repeating what Honourable Mosese has said, that all the book teaching has to be done in terms 1 and 2, and teachers are finding it very difficult to get this book teaching done, and then they have the exams coming up, and then in term 3 that they are required to do remedial and revision. So, it's very difficult without textbooks, and I'm just asking the Honourable Minister, how can he give that kind of directive when they need to have textbooks in the schools?
Thank you, Honourable Minister.
I just said that we have outsourced the printing of the textbooks to speed up the distribution, and we intend to finish the distribution by end of next month. As I said, that the teaching of classes from year 1 to 13 are not affected at all, because the teachers have resources. The library has limited copies of reference material for the textbooks, and there is also limited copies that is students have their own from past year students, they've got it. So what I'm saying is that classes are not affected. Classes are being taken as normal. It's just that every child may not have their own copy of the textbook. And I do understand that we don't expect them to download and print it. It's expensive for them. And that is why we are printing it and will deliver it to their doorstep. And in fact, in the urban areas, it's been delivered door to door. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. You have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Supplementary question.
Question.
Whilst we hear two sides of the story, one from the ministry, which sounds very good, but in fact the actual position that we hear from the rural schools is quite different. My question is, having all these disadvantages to the schools that may have been affected because of the delay in the delivery of textbooks, can the minister be able to answer what consideration will the ministry have in terms of the results of examinations for this year, especially when they have changed the examinations for this year. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
I thank the Honourable Kelly Reddy for his question. Honourable Minister.
Madam Speaker, last year there was no textbook supplied by the ministry. The student had their own copy. They were using the limited number of copies in the library and basically relying on the lecture notes provided by the teacher in maritime and interior. So why should the results be different this year? In fact, the results should be better this year because we are providing it. So, the questions, Madam Speaker, asked other side of the House have no logic. Thank you.